Hey, what's up, y'all? Just shooting a quick video. Just shooting a quick video on a concept of internalization, whether that be a habit or even techniques. What comes to mind, example, is let's say in martial arts, you know, throwing a jab. And I just come from the gym right now, and I'm just thinking about the idea of internalization, where you get like mind knowledge of something and then the bodily knowledge of something, and it just takes more time to get the bodily knowledge of something, right? I'm just thinking about, for example, like even something as simple as throwing a jab. Like you do it when you're doing it when you're static, and then they throw you into sparring, and it's like, oh, it's not so easy to punch a moving object. You know, as they say, you know, the punching bag doesn't punch back, right? Or the shadow doesn't punch back. And so the reason I'm thinking about this is that even in like internalizing certain ideas, it's like once you get the momentum of like doing the habit of a certain idea, and then you kind of fall off of it, and you have like this faint memory of what it felt like to start internalizing that idea, where even your view of like normal day-to-day life kind of shifts a little bit, all right? And I found that having periods of those kind of shifts happen when there's some kind of immersion. Like maybe it's just one thing and just doing lots of action in that one thing, right? I remember when I signed up to my like a boxing match I had like I think 2 years ago, where before I was like, oh no, man, I want to learn a little bit of that. I want to learn a little bit of this and that. But once I thought about it, okay, dude, the opponent that I'm probably going to be facing isn't going to be training all this other shit. It's just going to be doing boxing. Those like 4 or 5 weeks of preparation, like unlocked new levels of understanding of the nuances of that one main thing. And that was just that was like 4 or 5 weeks of just focusing on boxing. Now I'm trying to imagine, I don't know, people like Elon Musk, where they're fixated on one idea for like decades, or not one idea, but one path of thinking for decades. And yeah, that's just something I found interesting. And finding certain concepts to kind of embody and practicing them over and over and over again. So yeah, I just find that kind of intriguing. And yeah, that's just a thought I had, posting it out here on the internet. But what made me think about this? I think it's also ideas that I'm not accustomed to practicing around, right? So for example, my bias is towards lots of overthinking, trying to get something perfect before doing it. Whether that be like even in the past when I used to make music, it'll take me months to finish a fucking song, right? But it's because of like overthinking and perfection and all that shit. So an idea that's out of my reality is just being like closing the gap between idea and execution and making it quicker, right? And on the topic of martial arts, that's one of the things I think when I used to do judo, I think that's one of the things that resonated with me, was the idea that you're lapsing and when you have that little indecision, like, oh, let me think, on the ground you go, bam, fucking back's in the ground. You thought too long, you were indecisive, right? That's like when I did judo, that was the coolest, like that was one of the biggest concepts or ideas, or I don't know what the fuck you call it, man, but you know what I'm trying to say, man. That was one of the biggest things that stood out for me. It was like, oh shit, it's a nice live way of practicing being like decisive in the moment. Like have the idea, see the path, boom, do it, right? So yeah, that's pretty cool. Fuck, I need to do judo again, man. And yeah, let me stop rambling. That is just the thoughts for today in this video over here. Peace.